been a very hard road. When you look back at all the fights I had to take overseas, chase my dreams and continue to believe in myself and back whoever was coming up against me, ready to fight and win and progress to where I had to be and where I am today. I've always been the underdog. I should have never been where I am today. But with my hard work, my dedication, my discipline to the sport, I'm here today and I will be the undisputed champion of the world. I've manifested it. The vision is so strong and, I'm just looking forward to it. We're just over 2 weeks and, I'll complete that dream. Bit by bit, I've chipped away and, we are here now. But for anyone there, young kid that's aspiring to be great, to do good things, it takes time. It's a process. It's not going to happen overnight with anything you do. But if you stick to it, you stay focused, you put your all into it and your heart and soul into everything you do for that thing you're trying to achieve, you will get there one day.
Absolutely, champ. Absolutely. And not a lot of people know this, but when I see your story overall, you're cut from a different cloth, from the cloth that Tyson Fury, Loche, Lennox Lewis are cut from, going to the backyards of all the former champions time and time again. And not just that, just like Tyson Fury, when you were born, actually, you were in intensive care for 2 weeks. So fighting, not only is it in your blood, but ever since the moment you touch this earth, you've been battling, you've been going through it. So how did all those moments prepare you for this monumental moment?
From day dot, from the day I was born, I was in intensive care, and it was very touch and go that I maybe could have not survived, but that fighting spirit inside me from the day I first took a breath on this earth, was set inside me. Obviously, my family's from Sparta as well. We have fighting blood, so that's why I believe I'm cut from a different cloth, and I've continued showed it time and time again. It doesn't worry me to go into the backyards because, it makes me feel like an emperor. I'm conquering bit by bit, taking out their kings in their own hometown, in their own kingdom, and I'm taking over. So, I just stay very focused, very hungry to my grind, and continue fighting inside the ring, fighting outside the ring. We're all fighters, and that's the most important thing is to keep waking up every morning and keep pushing yourself.
Absolutely, champ. And everyone goes through a different journey when it comes to the road to greatness. But when it comes to boxing especially, you see a lot of built talents and built stars who are being matched up correctly in every step of the way. And not just that, being taken care of at such a young age. But there's something to be said about a fighter going through the absolute meat grinder, battling through the smoker fights, the local shows, traveling the world, sparring sessions all over the world, leaving your family. And Josh Kambosos is the embodiment of that. So, it's not a question actually, but would you rather have had it any other way? Because I don't think you did.
My journey, the hard road, the sacrifice I've had to make in my career, it's built me to where I am today. It's built character, it's built toughness, because it's not an easy road that I've had to go through. And a lot of these guys, like you said, they build them up. They're smart with them. They put them on a big promotional show, and they build them. They have the media behind them. But I've had to do that all by myself. I've had to make it happen myself. From the media to the fights in the ring, to take risks, to become the best that I can, and to get where I am today. So I never would want it any other way. And I think any fighter in the world, can get to wherever they want to. All these, moments in my career and what I've had to go through, the sacrifice, has built character. And that's why I am who I am today.
Absolutely, champ. And this fight, it's been delayed time and time again, obstacles time and time again. For the normal person, when they see a fight with such monumental stakes on the line, they would be like, man, this is going to be a mental drain for someone to pause the camp, restart the camp, and reschedule everything. But for you, I actually messaged you. The second the fight got postponed, I was like, hey, champ, I truly believe that this is your last character building test. Just get through this, and the world is yours. Because when I look at this fight, it's got shades of Aldo McGregor all over it. When you see the dominant champion, the champion that everyone's giving so much respect, not just about the skill set, but the aura. But when a young, hungry lion steps in and strips that aura, strips everything, and just looks at the soul, looks at the eyes, and goes like, you know what? You guys are not giving me a chance. I'm actually not giving him a chance. It's actually the other way around. It's that mentality of nothing but true greatness, nothing but I'm coming to take, just like you said in the press conference, I'm owed this. So you persevered through so many hard times. But do you believe that now it's time to reap in the rewards?
To me, we talk about how hard my journey is, and you make reference of the McGregor Aldo fight. I see similarities as well in that fight to this, and a few people have made the same similarity, where when a fighter's on a roll like I am right now, and the focus and the hunger, and I have not stopped. The fight that has been postponed, been stopped many times, not my fault. I was always there, day in, day out, ready to fight. And I've been ready to fight him straight away since I beat Lee Selby. I would have fought him straight after. That's why I've remained very focused, very hungry, because it's easy to lose your direction when there's so much, things happening in a mega fight like this, and all of a sudden it gets taken away and it gets moved to another date. And that's what has happened to Lopez. His distractions have been everywhere, but I've remained focused, remained in the gym, and stayed on my grind, perfected every day. And that's what's going to show October 4th.
And even that Lee Selby fight, after you won that fight, beautiful performance, by the way, especially in his hometown on October 31st. Immediately after the fight, you were like, I'm going to train right now. I promise you I'm going to train right now. I'm so hungry. I want this. Nobody's calling out Lopez after any performance, because most people, they want to enjoy their performances. They want to let everything sink in. But you, different story. Immediately after that, when you grabbed the mic, you were like, hey, listen, I want Lopez. That's it. And I swear to God, that day when you were talking in that press conference, I felt it, like sometimes the words are so powerful. And you manifest, just like you said, you manifest things into reality. But especially with the right mindset and the way that you're speaking things into existence, it's so potent, so powerful. And even the audience, everyone can feel it. And that is why you're seeing the shift now in the odds. I don't know if you noticed now, but before you were over a 9-1 underdog, but now it's slimming down. Now you're 7-1. A lot of betting sites.
And with the Selby fight, I came out as a big outsider when the fight was first made. But when people start to do their research and compare the camps and compare the fighters and see how hard one is training to an extreme length, while the other one, is very content with what he has right now, the odds will start to change and they will get closer and closer. But it doesn't bother me all that. I don't focus on the odds. I focus on this victory. And I've been through a hell of a lot to get to where I am today. And this kid is not going to stop me. My journey is going to, this is where my journey really starts, when I collect all them belts. This is where I go from great fighter to mega star. And I'm excited. I've manifested it. I've visualized it. And it is here now.
Absolutely, champ. And one thing that you're bringing to this fight, I don't see a lot of people talk about. I'm very much into psychology and sports psychology, but you're bringing that mental pressure. I've seen, everyone knows that in all your fights, you're so aggressive. Even your feints are aggressive. The way you step into the pocket, you're never afraid to step into the pocket and just go in an all-out shootout. And that is the pressure that you bring inside the ring, but even outside the ring. The mental pressure, the art of intimidation, it is something so underrated in this game. And I truly believe that you've mastered it, not only throughout your career, but especially against Teofimo Lopez, because we know that he's a young guy and he's just starting to become the superstar that everyone was touting him all along. This guy's going to be the future. And now he's finally smelling the roses. But when he was met with you in the press conference, you brought that different energy. You brought that art of intimidation, that ferocity, that ferociousness. And he wasn't comfortable, let's just say that, because even the demeanor, the posture, both of you guys, you were laid back, cool, calm, collected, composed under the fire. While he was taking his shirt off, going all over the place, standing up, sitting down, even that mental pressure actually brought something out of him. If you remember in the Keith Thurman and Manny Pacquiao fight, Keith Thurman was going out of his way every time in every interview, and he was saying that, I eat body shots. I'm never afraid to eat body shots. Although Manny Pacquiao never brought the idea of having a game plan going to the body. And just like Lopez, you actually didn't say anything about him being chinny in the press conference. But I even listened to a few interviews that he did lately. He kept talking about the fact that he thinks I'm chinny, I can take any punch all day. So am I mistaken here that when you bring that mental pressure, when you bring that art of intimidation to the table, insecurities become loud, insecurities become words spoken by them? What do you think about that?
The mental side of my fight game, is huge. And there was a lot of nervous energy from that day at the press conference. Now, that press conference was
insane.
In May. It was insane because people would think, wow, this Kambosos is the undisputed champion. They'll think I'm the undisputed champion by just obviously not knowing the facts. But manifest something for so long and you stay focused, everything just comes the way it's meant to be. And I'm a very big believer of the mental, strategies and having that mindset that's unbreakable. All I had to say was a few things for him to really get out of his zone, for all that nervous energy to take over his body. And he didn't even realize what he was doing. And it had stuck with him, even though it was so long ago in May. It has stuck with him every single night. Every morning he wakes up, I bet my life on it that he is thinking about the things I said, things I have gone and said in the interviews. And the game, but he has to be focused on what I'm bringing physically as well.
Absolutely. And I've been watching a lot of your past performances, even in before you made your US debut, even when you were fighting in Australia. You've always been so aggressive. No matter how smart the fighter is and how much they pride themselves on having a high fight IQ, whenever that adrenaline dump hits and the bright lights shine, no matter how hungry the individual is, they don't fight like they're hungry. But with you, the energy never changed, even since your debut. Even I've seen small clips from your sparring sessions. You've always kept the same energy, that ferocity, that tenacity that you bring into the table. It is something extremely unique, especially for the underdog who's fighting such a dominant champion, to step into the ring and showing him that, hey, listen, not only am I telling you what I'm going to do, but my history shows that every time I signed on the dotted line, not only did I step up, but that aggressiveness, that IQ, your speed, your fight IQ, so underrated. You've always been that dark horse in the division. And I even wrote about you before the Lee Selby fight. I was like, with the win over Lee Selby, not only does Kambosos become mandatory, but a statement will be made, no matter how the performance goes, because you've almost crept in to the top 5. You know what I mean? Like, nobody really paid attention to you.
I am the dark horse, and still, even with my great performances that I've had, and the Selby fight was a masterclass. He didn't touch me. I absolutely picked him apart from round 1 to round 12. And this guy is a seasoned guy, obviously a guy that's been there many times. And I made it look very, very easy.
Former champion.
Former champion, defended that belt 6 times. Coming off the Ricky Burns fight. Look, and I give him respect. I know he somehow believes he won the fight, but it is what it is. And I absolutely dominated him. And I think it eats him up every single day. So that's history. I'm focused on what I'm going to do against Lopez. that ferocity, that no emotion, where from round 1 to round 12, every time I'm so focused, I'm so zoned in. It's pretty much like I'm in a Zen mode. And Castamaro said the best way, when you're at ultimate inside the ring is when you get to a Zen mode. And I feel that. I feel at peace. I see everything. I'm moving. It's like I'm in a position where I see them in slow motion. That's how I feel. And that is that ultimate Zen mode. And I have felt it many times. And again, in this fight, it's I'm going to get into my zone and I'm going to do what I do best and beat this kid.
Absolutely, champ. And just to touch on the Lomachenko fight, since everyone is talking about it, I literally watched the fight over 10, 15 times to put it mildly. And I scored the fight 6 rounds apiece. How did you score the fight?
As well. 6 rounds apiece is fair. And then again, it could have given it one way, either way. And we know it's out there. We saw it. Lomachenko had one shoulder. Now, maybe that's why he's so scared to even talk about the rematch. The rematch didn't come from him talking about it. His father said, yeah, we'll have a rematch. Again, when they were dismissing me. And they completely always put him to the side. But everyone saw that fight. They know exactly what happened in that fight. And most importantly, I watched that fight. I know exactly what Lomachenko started to bring to the table when he opened up. My style, what I bring to the table, is going to be too much for this kid. And I will look forward to fighting Lomachenko after this fight. Let him not worry about Lopez because he's not going to have the belts. But if he wants to get that back, let him go get that back. But I will give him the shot straight away.
Absolutely. And I think Lomachenko is going to be rooting for you because, we've seen it that Teofimo is not interested in the rematch. And you can't really blame him, to be honest, because when you beat Lomachenko, it was such a close fight and the stars just aligned perfectly for him that night. So definitely understandable, but I can definitely see a fight between the ferocious one Kambosos for all the belts, undisputed, against Lomachenko, former champion. And I'm sure that you're going to give whoever wants it can get it. That's the mindset that I'm getting.
I have, and a lot of these guys, these so-called superstars, they want to protect their record. They don't want to fight the best. Now, look, Lopez, no disrespect, he did do his thing, and he got rid of obviously Nakatani, Richard Comey, and Lomachenko. But again, the stars aligned in all of them fights. He fought a guy like Nakatani, who I chased for a very long time. He didn't want nothing to do with me. Even offered to go to Japan to fight him.
Wow.
It was a very close fight. Now, Richard Comey, he caught him with a very lucky shot. The stars aligned. And Lomachenko had that one shoulder. So I'm not going to take that away from him, but the facts are the fact. And they say things only happen in threes. So now it's my time. I had my big win against Mickey Bay. I had my big win against Lee Selby. And now this is the third one where I take over.
Absolutely. And I truly believe this in this life in general. Like, not only when it comes to boxing and stuff. Life is all about turns. So he had his turn and he was destined all along to become undisputed and he fulfilled his destiny. But a lot of people like yourself who know that they're destined for this and they just been waiting patiently, kept chipping away, working hard, never discouraged, because there's always one word that sticks when it comes to you: tunnel vision. You always talk about tunnel vision, and it shows because you never took any dip when it comes to performances, when it comes to anything. You've always rose to the occasion, no matter how. I mean, let's be honest, your last 2 fights, the judges, they were about to rob you. Like, it was crazy.
When you're in the hometowns of these former champions, you're always going to get that one judge. Especially in the Lee Selby fight, you had the English judge who really tried to rob me. I think he had the fight scored already without even the fight started. The neutral judges, the 2 neutral judges had it perfectly: 118, 110 and 116, 112. That's the way the fight. When I saw that fight over and over again, and I had it 118, 110, and I sat as neutral as I could be, I pretty much took myself out and put myself in Lee Selby's position, and I still couldn't score it any other way. It was dominant. And that's where a lot of people are getting confused. They see split decision. They see points, but it was never that. It was never a close fight. And Lopez said it as well in the press conference. Oh, you had 2 split decisions, and I turned around straight away and said,
your research.
Yeah, you have not studied. You have not studied. You have done no research. But I have done countless hours of research on you. And yes, I have been tailgating him. Wherever he is moved, I have moved right behind him. Predator coming behind you, that's your worst nightmare, because you can't see what angle he's going to come from.
Absolutely, champ. Now, I'm not going to take much longer of your time, but honestly, you truly can't script this. From someone always being picked last in a school race, in any sports activity or any school activities, but on October 4th, you get a chance not just to be first, not just to be the best, but the absolute number one, the superior fighter from all your foes, the only way a true Spartan knows.
Long time coming. This has been a time where I've had to chip away, but even where I wasn't inside the top 15, I had that vision. I've manifested it, and the time has finally come. I can't see any way this kid beats me. I'm just and I put in too much hard work. He has taken time off after he got his COVID. He really took time off. But I have been in the gym non-stop, and people say you might burn out, but I have been like this for 15, 16 years, every single day. I don't know anything else, and that's what the Spartans do. They work every day, day in, day out. They don't know anything else but battle and warfare. And that's how I feel in this fight. I'm coming to win this fight. I've been prepared for this fight my whole life. And, tunnel visioning all this for a very long time. I have been creeping up on him. I have had years to study him, while he has only had a very small amount of time to study myself. And I don't even believe they have done their proper research. But it will.
Absolutely, champ. Just one last thing before I let you go. You're making an example, not just for any person who's watching your journey, but especially for your kids. And I know that you have a newborn on the way, so congratulations on that. What does it mean to you that you're leaving your kids with something money could never buy, something priceless? Is the fact that I've seen my dad, he chose the hardest occupation ever. And anyone who knows anything about boxing, it is absolutely the most grueling, the loneliest sport of all, and especially to make it. And not only did my dad make it, but he became the absolute best. Not only did he become successful, but he reached the pinnacle. How important that is for your kids, that 10 years from now, 20 years from now, when they're chasing their dreams, they're never going to have that moment of, can I really do it? Is this really possible? Because my dad, not only did he do it, but he chose, as I said, the hardest occupation of all. And he established supremacy at such a young age too, 27. So
very important, and I take that so close to my heart. The sacrifice that I put myself through and put my family through. And I was talking about it today, before I leave now to head over to battle. I tell my kids, even at a young age, that dad's got to do this. Dad's got to go over there and win this fight. And he's going to bring something back. He's going to bring all these belts back. And this is not about the hardware. This is not about the money. But what I'm really bringing back is a roadmap for them in the future to say, whatever gets hard in my life, whatever I chase in my life, I will get to it. If I stay disciplined and sacrifice, and keep my dedication to whatever I'm chasing, my son to fight. But if that's what he chooses, thing that I do in my life to get to the top. And that's the same with anything he chooses in his life. And then anything, material stuff does not matter. But what matters is I'm setting a foundation for them. And again, the sacrifice, obviously, the baby is due very, very soon, but I don't think I'm going to be here for it. I think I'm going to be away, obviously, for the fight. Once again, that we are making together. It's been continuing the sacrifice, but we will look back at this journey, this story that I have written with my family to get to the top, and they'll see how hard it is, and it was all worth it.
Absolutely, champ. Absolutely. And my mother actually used to always tell me when I was a kid that with every newborn, God blesses us with a special blessing. And I truly believe that you can't script this. As I said, timing is perfect. And I'm really looking forward to October 4th. Not only do you become undisputed, reign supreme in a division full of stars. I mean, you're talking about future potential matchups that are mouth-watering, to say the least. And I know for a fact that when you're going to be undisputed, Steve Duncan, the referee who passed away at 2015, I know how much he means to you. And I know that he's, without a doubt, going to be smiling from above, knowing that this kid who I believed in, and I refereed him from the start. Now, not only do you go to the backyard, to the US, once you conquer the US, I mean, you basically made it. And history book, especially in Australia, I mean, this win puts you as undoubtedly, I mean, Costa Zoo is an absolute legend, but I truly believe with this win, you're going to be the greatest fighter, or the at least most accomplished fighter in Australian history.
I got goosebumps when you said that name. A man that was very close to me and refereed many of my fights as a young amateur, and always said, "You will be world champion. You're going to do it." And even on his deathbed, where he was battling cancer, he turned around and said, "You are going to be world champion. You're going to do it." Way from, and I can't wait for October 4th.